Alrighty, we are back here for the next preliminary match again from Ukraine against Italy. There's about 3 minutes and 37 seconds left on this clock. So in the meantime, we can go over the lineups for each team. For Italy, we have number 5, Magdalena Hofer, number 4, Sierra Zischer, number 2, Camilla Pazzotta, and number 1, Anna Maria Innenhofer. For Ukraine, we have number 8, Yulia Fakaeva, number 3, Ola Lukovic, number 1, Mariahata Belkiv, number 4, Natalia Molina, and number 5, Alexandra Davidova. Ukraine will be table right in this game with their blue jerseys, and Italy will be table left in bright yellow jerseys. We'll get underway in a little bit with this commentary, but I just wanted to introduce the teams to you guys who are waiting. Just a little bit of secondary information. This is Italy's debut for their women's team. They have had a men's team compete in the European Bs previously, and they are actually also in the European Cs for the men. But this is the first time that Italy has fielded a team. Now 2022, they have 4 ladies on their team, all under the age of 25. And they have played quite well in this tournament for it being their first tournament ever. Just making a team less than 3 months ago and fielding a team for the European B Championships. Impressive with the way that they've played so far in this tournament and the progress that they've made throughout this tournament too, from first game losing to host country Portugal to where we're at right now. Ukraine, one of the favorites to win this tournament, descending from the European A pool last year in Samsung, Turkey, looking to make their way back into the European A pool for this next year. The next European A editions are TBA. We don't know exactly where they will be, but they are a qualifier for the 2024 Paralympic Games in Paris. Those games will only feature 8 men's and women's teams, which means only one team who is crowned European champion next year will be the qualifying team for Paris 2024, along with also included in that region, along with Japan, China, and just that Pacific area over there. And I think that I also forgot Africa. Africa will also have a qualifier. Those regional qualifiers will join France. There will be 2 teams that qualify this year from the 2022 World Championships, which will also be hosted in 3 weeks in Matosinhos, Portugal. The top 2 teams making their way to qualify for Paris. And then next year, the top team from the IBSA World Games in Birmingham will be also qualified for Paris 2024. So these teams are looking to fight their way in the A's so that they could get their hands in the pot to try to qualify for Paris. For Italy, we will have number 5, Magdalena Hofer, Camilla Pazzotta, and Sierra Zischer starting this match. Zischer will take the ball out of center. Not spinning, throwing a ball down to the number 3 from Ukraine, the left wing. She'll go ahead and back up and throw a smooth ball into the center, blocked by Zischer. She'll pass the ball off to Pazzotta, who's playing this right wing this game. She'll be throwing a ball right down the line, but just out. Number 3 again for Ukraine, setting up on that left post. She'll be throwing the ball into Pazzotta, who makes a safe block. She'll be throwing right-handed down the line, but just fades out. Ball by number 3 from Ukraine across the face of Zischer, but makes a block with her feet to secure the ball. Passes off to Hofer, whose throw has improved tremendously throughout this tournament. A very tall player, probably about 6 feet tall. Not really sure how tall that is in meters. Number 3 from Ukraine throws across the face of Sierra Zischer in center. Got by her feet, spins around, throws a slightly bouncing ball across the face of number 1 in center for Ukraine. Passes off to number 8, their primary thrower, bouncing the ball down, but saved by Zischer in that left gap. She'll hand the ball over to Pisoda on that right side, who's going to throw that ball right in the gap between number 3 and 1 on Ukraine's left side. She'll throw that ball down into the gap, but saved safely by Pisoda. She'll be looking to make her first goal of the game, but unfortunately on that ball throws out. Number 3 from Ukraine setting up on that right side. Throwing into that gap between Zischer and Pisoda. Zischer will take the ball this time. Spins around on that right side, trying to hit the gap between the left wing and center of Ukraine, saved by number 8, the right wing, on the goal line. And she'll send a ball trying to hit Pisoda's corner on that right side for Italy, but the ball just fades out. Pisoda drops the ball out right away into number 3 from Ukraine. Throws into that left gap right in front of her to Pisoda. Pisoda comes down the line, ball's just out. Left wing number 3 from Ukraine will take a couple steps and throw cross court, but blocked by Sierra Zischer. She's going to hand the ball off to Magdalena Hofer on that left-hand side, who's going to throw the ball just into center, but blocked by number 1 of Ukraine. Hand it off to number 8. The right wing from Ukraine throws into the center at Zischer. Zischer going to that left-hand side, sending Hofer off the court, spins around and throws into that gap between number 1 and 8 on that right side for Ukraine. Number 8 throwing a smooth ball right in that gap between Zischer and Hofer. Saved by number 8 of Ukraine after a deflection. Number 8 throwing a bouncing ball into the center, but saved by Zischer. This game has a couple of minutes off the clock already. We have an official's timeout for a plane flying overhead. There's about 8 minutes left in this half, 8 minutes and 37 seconds. The ball will be starting on the right with Pisoda, who's going to wind up and throw down the line, but just angled slightly out. Doesn't have enough power to stay on the court, and will be dropped in with the number 3 of Ukraine. She'll be taking that ball right-handed, a couple steps forward, throwing down the line, but blocked by the feet of Pisoda. Magdalena Hofer over on that right-hand side. She'll take the ball right-handed just across the face, hitting the feet of number 1 from Ukraine in center. She'll pass the ball off to the right to number 8, who's going to throw a bouncing ball right in that gap between Hofer and Zischer, but blocked out by Zischer. The ball will be returned to Magdalena Hofer on that left side. She's going to look for her first goal this game, setting up at that left post, throwing to center, but blocked by number 1 of Ukraine. Passed off to number 8, moving 1 out of center, looking to throw quite far in from the court, but blocked by Zischer. A defensive game so far in this first half with nearly 5 minutes gone. Next ball blocked by Ukraine center, but passed off to number 3 on the left wing. She'll throw a skipping ball down to Pizzotta, and Pizzotta will make a easy save. This time she's going to back up and throw the ball down the line. The ball stays in this time. A little bit more speed and velocity than we've seen already from Pizzotta. Number 3 from Ukraine trying to bounce the ball again down the line on Pizzotta, but the ball just fades out. Sierra Zischer will make her way over to that right side for Italy, spinning around and throwing a ball into the gap between the left wing and center for Ukraine. Passed over to number 3, who's on the left wing. She'll throw a cross and saved by Zischer, who swings her feet forward. She'll bring the ball back to Italy's number 5, Hofer, who's going to throw into the center. Passed off to the left wing from Ukraine. She'll set up at that left post and try to hit a full cross past Hofer, but it has too much angle on it and is just out. But Camilla Pizzotta decided to come over to that left wing and try to throw that shot. She's making her way back, but throws that ball to center. Passed off to the right wing for Ukraine. Their highlighted thrower. Lots of bouncing balls by her. Great shots throughout the tournament. Hits Hofer down the line, but saved safely. Hofer will go into center and throw a smooth ball this time in the gap between the Ukrainian center and the right wing number 8. She'll be sending that ball between Zischer and Hofer on that left side of Italy's defense, but nothing is coming through. The ball was blocked past that neutral area, so it will be returned back to Ukraine. Ukraine, number 8, down the line, blocked by Hofer. She's going to take the ball back herself from center, spinning around, sending the ball into that gap between the left wing and center from Ukraine. One of the first close shots we've seen this game, this time by newcomers and underdogs Italy. A quick shot by Zischer in the back of the net, and Italy takes one of their first leads of this tournament. 1-0 Italy over Ukraine with 5 minutes and 58 seconds left in this first half. They will be thrilled with the start. A first goal over one of the tournament favorites, Ukraine. This time the ball starting on the right with Camilla Pizzotta. She's bouncing the ball down the line, but it's not going to have enough to stay. Just fades out a little bit and will be placed back in with Ukraine's number 3. Number 3, right-handed, throws in the gap between Zischer and Pizzotta. Looked like it was goal-bound, but Pizzotta saved that ball at the last second. She throws the ball into the center to number 1, who's going to pass to the right wing of Ukraine, number 8, Fakaiva. She's going to throw a bouncing ball into that left gap of Italy, right between Hofer and Zischer, but saved by the feet of Zischer. Zischer throwing a ball into the gap between number 1 and Fakaiva of Ukraine. Fakaiva, number 8, Ukraine's highlighted thrower. She'll throw into the center to Zischer, which is surely saved safely. Zischer spinning around, throwing a skipping ball into the center, but saved by Ukraine's number 1. Number 3 from Ukraine just makes her first goal, splitting the gap between Zischer and Pizzotta. Zischer not coming over far enough and Pizzotta just diving a little bit too late. Italy will take their first time out of this game to reassure the girls and refocus them with almost 9 minutes off the clock in this game. A little bit over 8, actually. Italy will be thrilled with a sound defense so far in this game. Ukraine looking to heighten their lead, and Italy looking to score some more goals throughout this tournament. Newcomers and underdogs taking one of their last preliminary matches of this game. The ball will be in center with Zischer. She'll take this ball from the right side of the court, spinning around, throwing a bouncing ball, but just out. The ball will be dropped in with Fakaiva of Ukraine, number 8 on the right side. She's going to move into the center to throw this shot. A bouncing ball right into the center, saved by Zischer. Zischer passes off to Hofer on that left side, throws a full cross, and the ball is blocked by number 3, the left wing from Ukraine. She's going to throw a smooth ball, just deflected off the hands of Sierra Zischer, but saved by Camila Pizzotta. She'll throw a ball into the center. Passed off to the left wing from Ukraine, number 3. She'll be throwing down that line, saved by Pizzotta, who's going to back up to the goal herself and take a couple of steps before releasing that ball. Passed back to the number 3 from Ukraine, that left wing, looking to throw into that gap again between Pizzotta and Zischer, but just saved by the feet of Pizzotta. She'll look at throwing this ball just down the gap. Number 3 from Ukraine dived just a little bit early and almost gave that ball up. Pizzotta handing the ball off to Magdalena Hofer, who came over to that right side, throwing the ball directly into center, saved by number 1 from Ukraine. She'll be passing the ball off to their highlighted thrower, number 8, Fakaiva from Ukraine. She'll be throwing that ball, just saved. Oh no! What a mistake by Pizzotta. That ball was headed out and she just kicked the ball into the net on a help save. Italy will go down now 2-1 against one of the tournament favorites, Ukraine, with 3 minutes and 17 seconds left in this first half. Italy looking to get another goal to draw even with Ukraine. Ukraine taking a timeout, looking to keep the momentum on their side and maybe extend their lead against newcomers Italy. Lots of great things seen this game already, things that we can maybe use in the future from Italy to the next European Championships that they're looking to compete in. We're live now. Both of the wings switching for Ukraine, putting number 8, Fakaiva, now in that left wing position right in front of Pizzotta. She throws at Zischer, and Zischer quick shots her. Great shot deflected off of Fakaiva and out. Fakaiva throwing a full cross to Magdalena Hofer. She makes that block, has to make a recovery for it, backing up to the back of the net, throwing a full cross against Fakaiva. Fakaiva from Ukraine receiving the ball back from number 1, Belkiv. Hey. Camila Pizzotta now from that right side. She's going to take the ball and throw a shot right down the line at Fakaiva from Ukraine, who's going to back up on that left side. This is the first time we're seeing her play left wing for this tournament. She threw across the face of Zischer, but saved by her feet. She'll be headed over to that right side of the court to try to throw at Fakaiva, throwing a bouncing ball into the center. Saved by number 1, Belkiv. Passed off to Lukovic from Ukraine. Lukovic down the line at Hofer, but saved, blocked out. Hofer setting up on that left post. She'll be bouncing the ball just a little bit too much into the ground, but saved by Fakaiva from Ukraine. Again, still playing that left wing. Not sure if this is a temporary switch or if they'll keep them switched throughout this first half. Fakaiva throwing a bouncing ball into the center, just deflected off of the hands of Zischer and into the corner from Pizzotta. They will take a 3-1 lead. Ukraine over Italy with 1 minute and 47 seconds left in this half. Zischer takes a bouncing ball out of center, but blocked out by Belkiv from Ukraine. Lukovic, number 3, Ukraine, throws down the line on Hofer, but safely saved. She'll back up and try to throw a slightly skipping shot, almost deflected off of the feet from Belkiv, but pass to Lukovic. Lukovic on that right side. Throws a high ball, which will give Italy an opportunity to recollect and also come back from this deficit. All of the penalties that they've thrown so far in the tournament have been a little bit inaccurate, so we're going to be looking for Zischer to throw a more accurate shot. She's going to need to do that. Spins around, throws a shot right almost down the line, hits the post, comes back in, and Lukovic blocks that ball out. Almost a goal for Zischer, but not quite the best penalty shot that she's thrown so far in this tournament. The most accurate shot, too. Fakaieva throwing a bouncing ball into the chest of Zischer in center, passed off to Pizzota on the right wing, who's just going to throw out. Not enough action on that ball to stay in. Hofer throwing down the middle of the court, right at Belkiv, into Lukovic. Lukovic throwing into the feet of Sierra Zischer. Blocked out by the center, Belkiv. Lukovic throwing a full cross to Camila Pizzota, just blocked, and she'll throw the ball right down the line at Fakaieva. Zischer passing off to Pizzota after that block by Fakaieva, but the ball will float out, not fast enough to stay the direction it was headed. That ball was saved by Camila Pizzota, and halftime is called. Italy trails Ukraine 3-1. So far, one of their best games of the tournament, other than the opening match against host country Portugal. Had they played like this the first night, they surely would have beaten Portugal in their opening match. But as we see, Italy is actually quite a new team, improved a lot throughout this tournament, so they can be proud of the progress that they've made so far. We'll take a pause while this game is happening. One thing that I've been talking about a lot in this tournament, we have a three-way tie for first place between Greece, Finland, and Ukraine, all of them beating each other. Ukraine lost to Greece, Greece lost to Finland, and Finland lost to the Ukraine, which means that all of them are tied for that first place spot. Ukraine potentially looking for the point differential to pull away so that they can play Hungary in a semifinal tomorrow. But we still have some preliminary round matches tomorrow to also help determine where those teams will sit. It will either be Finland and Greece fighting for a semifinal spot, or Ukraine and Greece, more than likely. Eye shades are being checked. There are no substitutions on either side. Italy will keep all three of their starters in. We have not actually seen we have seen Magdalena Hofer, but we haven't seen Anna Maria Innerhofer yet in this tournament play, so potentially, hopefully she'll step onto the court at some point. Again, all of Italy's players are under the age of 25, a young team just started a few months ago making their debut here at the European Championships Group B. We also haven't seen substitutions by Ukraine, really. Yeah, we haven't seen any substitutions really throughout this tournament from Ukraine as well. Looks like actually they will be making a substitution. Number 1 will be on the bench, which means that they're bringing in number 4. Number 4 is Natalia Molina. She looks like she'll be taking up that center position for Ukraine. Let's see if Ukraine keeps the same starting order that they ended with last game, with Fakaeva playing left wing and Lukovic playing right. Fakaeva with her signature pink hair. Easy to spot on the court. Fakaeva going back home to where she started in this first half on that right wing where we've seen her all tournament. Throws the first ball out on a bouncing throw, out before that half-court line. Magdalena Hofer on this left side, starting the throwing offer, hit Italy, but throws just a high ball. She'll have to block the entire court by herself. For those of you who are new to GoalBall, these players have to have the ball down, touching the ground at least once before that 6-meter line. Not the way Italy wanted to start their second half, but maybe the opportunity can be taken advantage of by Hofer. Bouncing ball by Fakaeva into the back of the net, not blocked by Hofer, who went up to the high ball line to try to block that, but just missed out on that ball being a little bit too slow. Ball bounced down the court by Zischer, just hit the feet of the center from Ukraine, Molina, and blocked out in the neutral area. So the ball will be returned to number 5, Magdalena Hofer from Italy, who will throw from that left side, hitting the center position for Molina, handing the ball off on that right side to Fakaeva from Ukraine. She'll be throwing a bouncing ball down the line and blocked by Hofer. She'll take the next ball again, third throw in a row from Hofer from Italy. She'll be moving into the center to throw this shot. Throws a slightly bouncing ball down the center and passed off to Lukovic from Ukraine. She's playing that left wing position, throwing a smooth ball, trying to hit that gap between Pizzotta and Zischer, but is blocked by Zischer's hands. Pizzotta throwing into the gap between Molina and Lukovic. Lukovic throws into the center at Zischer, who's going to send Pizzotta off on that right side of the court so that she can throw from there. Throws a bouncing ball almost down the line, but just out, just fading out at that last second. Ball sent down the line by Lukovic to Pizzotta. She makes a safe block on her feet side and returns the ball, but just out. Ukraine will take a timeout now with 10 minutes and 32 seconds left on this clock. They are leading this game 4-1, potentially looking for points to collect so that their point differential can improve. They only lost by 1 point to Greece just before our lunch break earlier. They'll be looking and searching for those extra points. The ball will be starting. They're switching wings again for Ukraine. Fakaiva will be taking up that left-hand side, and Lukovic will be moving to the right. Fakaiva has the ball on this left wing, bounces the ball into center, but surely saved by Zischer. She's going to quick return into the center, saved by Melina, passed off to Lukovic on that right side. She'll be throwing into that gap between Hoffer, and Zischer just makes its way through. Zischer dropped a little bit early, and Hoffer was not deep enough into the gap to save that shot. So Ukraine will take a 5-1 lead in this game. The ball's on the left side now with Hoffer. Hoffer throwing across the face of center. Melina passed off to Fakaiva. Fakaiva from that left side bouncing the ball almost into the gap between Zischer and Pizzota, but Pizzota makes a last-minute save. She'll be throwing the ball to center to Melina, who's going to pass off to Lukovic. We haven't seen Melina throw yet this game. Lukovic down the line on Hoffer, deflected up but forward and blocked out. Zischer will be making her way over to Hoffer's side so that she can throw the ball from that left side. Spins around, bounces the ball, but ball over will be called as the ball was blocked out in the neutral area. 9 minutes and 36 seconds left to go in this game. Italy looking to climb in their ranking, trying to get some more goals. Throws a slightly bouncing ball from Zischer from that left side, but just dies because it was too far into the ground. Fakaiva throwing a bouncing ball into center, saved by Zischer, and she will pass off to Pizzota on that right side. Pizzota throwing the ball down the line, but just fades out at the last moment before hitting Fakaiva on that left wing. Fakaiva, smooth ball this time, down mid-wing line into Pizzota. She deflects the ball forward, and Zischer will keep it. Throwing into the centers, Melina's hands in that left gap and deflected out. Fakaiva from that left side, bouncing the ball full cross, and Magdalena Hoffer left her corner open, just swung her feet out at the last minute and wasn't able to get back, and just gave up that 6-1 goal to Ukraine. Hoffer on that left side stepped off the court. Zischer Zischer went over to that left wing as the ball was placed in. Nobody was there to get that ball, and potentially Italy has a illegal coaching or delay of game penalty for calling a timeout when no player had possession of the ball in their hands. But let's see what the referees think after this timeout they're discussing right now. Italy has a good 5 seconds off the shot clock for that because there was a miscommunication between Magdalena Hoffer and Sierra Zischer. Thinking Zischer was over, Hoffer just stood off of the court. Nobody was there to throw that ball, and they're going to have to either throw the ball out right away or try to get this shot off very quickly. Hoffer makes the decision to just pass the ball out. Great decision. Hopefully not trying to get that mistake so that they would go down another goal, giving an opportunity to Ukraine. Number 3 from Ukraine, Lukovic from that right side throws into that gap between Hoffer and Zischer. Zischer saves the ball and runs the ball back to Hoffer, who's going to make that last throw. Short cross to Melina from Ukraine, passed off to Fakaiva. Fakaiva throwing a bouncing ball to Hoffer, who just deflects the ball up and out. So they'll have a blocked out. Zischer's over on that left-hand side for Italy, spinning around, throwing that ball into center. A little bit jammed into the ground, so some of the velocity was taken off of that shot. Fakaiva, smooth ball to Zischer in the center, who's passing the ball off to Pizzota. Pizzota, a little bit of Ball into the ground, but saved by Fakaiva, who's going to throw a bouncing ball into the gap between Zischer and Pizzota. Pizzota looking to make that secondary save as the ball just floats out of bounds after that block by Zischer. Pizzota throwing that ball. It's going to be out. Not enough on that shot and just a little bit too much angle. Fakaiva from that left side of Ukraine tries to throw a bouncing ball into the gap. Blocked by Pizzota, who has a little bit of angle in her defense position. She sends the ball back to Fakaiva on that left side, who decides to quick shot her into that gap, but saved by Sierra Zischer in that center position. Zischer throws a skipping ball without spinning this time, but was just not able to be goal bound. It was a no chance shot. Even if it stayed in, it would not have scored because it would have gone out before that goal line. The ball is collected by Pizzota this time, who headed over to Hoffer's wing on the left side. She's going to throw a ball into the center. Blocked by Melina from Ukraine, who's passing back to Lukovic. Lukovic down the line to Hoffer, but blocked out easily. 7 minutes and 1 second left on the second half clock. Fakaiva from that left side, taking a bouncing ball just across the face of Zischer, blocked with her feet. She's going to send Hoffer off the court as she throws from that left side, throwing a bouncing ball into number 3 from Ukraine, Lukovic, on that right wing, deflected but forward. Hoffer making the block for Italy as Lukovic sends that ball down the line. She'll have her next opportunity to score. Throws into Melina's feet from Ukraine, but the ball is blocked over the half-court line, which means it's a turnover. Italy will receive the ball again. This time, Zischer on that left wing, spinning around with a skipping shot into the center, blocked by Melina, passed off to Lukovic. Now coming into the court again on Hoffer, who's throwing into that gap between Melina and Lukovic. Melina passes the ball off to the left wing player, Fakaiva, who's going to bounce the ball into the center from her position. Quick shot by Zischer from Italy, but blocked by Melina, who's going to pass back to Lukovic. Lukovic throws down the line, but is blocked by Magdalena Hoffer. Slow ball sent down by Hoffer to Lukovic, just blocked, and Lukovic will throw into the center on Italy. She'll pass off to Pizzota, who's setting up in that right gap to throw down the line, almost moved out of the way from Fakaiva from Ukraine, their left wing, but just blocked. Fakaiva setting up at that left post, throwing a bouncing ball into the gap, just blocked by Camila Pizzota, who just dropped at that last minute to block that ball. She's trying to send the ball down the line, but Fakaiva blocks it, gets up quickly and returns it back. Zischer in the center, she'll quick shot Fakaiva back, but just too much bounce on that ball. It didn't get there quick enough, and the next shot almost scores for Ukraine. It's deflected off of the hands of Sierra Zischer in center, just went over to that post on that right side and deflected back into play. That ball's out by Camila Pizzota. And will be returned to Fakaiva on this left side. Fakaiva throwing into the gap between Zischer and Pizzota. She'll pass the ball off to Pizzota on that side. try to get her to throw down the line, which she does on Fakaiva, who's up quick for a quick shot. Pizzotta swings her feet past the outline, but the ball goes out before it's able to hit her feet. Zischer over on that right side now. She'll spin around, throwing a skipping shot into that gap between Fakaiva and Melina for Ukraine. Lukovic now sets up on that right side, sends the ball down the line, smooth ball down the line. Blocked by Hofer. She'll send the ball again, a full cross on Fakaiva, but blocked, and Ukraine will take their next time out of the game. There's 4 minutes and 8 seconds left on this clock in the second half. Ukraine surely trying to get 3 more points to finish this game out early so that they can increase their point differential to try to lock themselves into that 1 versus 4 semifinal game against Hungary that should take place tomorrow afternoon. Finals for this tournament, I believe, take place on Saturday. So these teams will have at least 2 games tomorrow. And then that final game on the final day, there will also be placement games, especially for the men because they have a relegation system. The bottom 3 teams will go to the C pool for the next European C Championships. But for the women, there is no European Cs. Fakaiva switches back to that right wing, tries to throw down the line on Hofer, but immediately throws it out before that half-court line. Hofer on that left side, trying to throw a ball cross-court, but just saved across the face of center by Melina. Melina tries to throw down the line on Pizzotta, but is unsuccessful. That ball just faded out before it was able to hit Pizzotta in the feet. We're going to have the ball back in play with Pizzotta, who's going to try to hit that left gap between Lukovic and Melina, and is successful doing so, but is not successful in getting a goal. Almost Ukraine's next goal, with Camilla Pizzotta blocking that ball deep in the gap. Zischer not making that block, and we are about to see the debut of Anna Maria Innerhofer in this game. This is her first time playing throughout this tournament, so we're excited to see exactly what we get from number 1. Hofer coming off the court, just taking a break to see maybe what this substitution can do for Italy. We haven't seen Innerhofer play yet, so Innerhofer will be able to go. It looks like she'll be headed over to that left wing for Italy. Coach talking to Magdalena Hofer, trying to give her a little bit of feedback before sending her to the seat, potentially at some point looking to bring her back in this second half, so keeping her warm. We're waiting for play to resume. Innerhofer, like I said, moved to that left wing. Zischer's in center, and Pizzotta will keep her place on that right side of the court. There's a little bit of a delay, but we're about to start with Camilla Pizzotta from that right side. She'll be sending the ball down mid-wing line into Lukovic from Ukraine, who will take this ball, slightly skipping the ball past the feet of Camilla Pizzotta right down that line for Italy, and Ukraine will take a 7-1 lead in this game. We have about 3:27 left in this half. Sierra Zischer spinning around, throwing a full cross from that right side to Ukraine's right side. Number 8 throwing a bouncing ball right down the line on Innerhofer, but blocked out. This will be the first shot that we've seen from Anna Maria Innerhofer, the sub for Italy, throwing a ball with decent velocity across the face of Melina and pass to Lukovic from Ukraine. Lukovic throwing into the gap between Zischer and Pizzotta. Pazota throwing this ball just out, a little bit too far into the ground and just not angled right. Ukraine will be taking a timeout now with 2 minutes and 53 seconds left on this clock. Again, still looking to climb to get points for their point differential. And Italy looking to give their player number 1, Anna Maria Innerhofer, some experience for this tournament. This is her first debut on the court so far, made her first block, so she should be proud of that, and also threw her first shot. We're going to see what we're going to get from Innerhofer this half. Italy going back to their same positions with Pazota on the right side, Zischer in the center, and on the left, Innerhofer. And Ukraine staying the same with Fakaiva on the right side. She'll be throwing from center. Melina in center and Lukovic on that left. Fakaiva throwing a skipping ball into the center, easily saved by Zischer. She'll be passing that ball off to Pazota, who's going to throw that ball into that gap between Lukovic and Melina on the left side of Ukraine's defense. Melina setting up on that left post. She'll be throwing a slightly bouncing ball down mid-wing line to Pazota, but she makes an easy block with her chest. She'll be throwing a ball just out, just not aligned right at that goal post, and gives Ukraine an opportunity to set up a new shot. New shot into the gap, blocked by the angled player of Camila Pazota on that right side. She'll throw a ball into the gap, just blocked by Lukovic on that left side. Lukovic throwing down the line and just into the air. Luckily bounced out of bounds, so not able to score. Zischer is over on that right side for Italy, trying to throw a skipping ball, but down the line, blocked by Lukovic. A lot of throws by Lukovic so far. Some interesting things about Ukraine that have been noticed throughout this tournament is that you could throw 7 or 8 throws at one player, and they will never pass the ball to their teammates. They will just keep throwing over and over and over again, no matter how tired they are. Not a lot of communication from the Ukrainian team together on the court, but they do communicate a lot off the court. Lukovic on that left side skipping the ball down the line. The ball just went forward, and Zischer will run after the ball and pass that back to Pazota, who made the block. She'll throw the ball, but the ball again is out of bounds. The gym just getting a little bit louder with it raining here. It's been raining all week in Matosinhos, Portugal, so we have some loud air moving around in this gym right now. Zischer hitting the feet of Melina in center. The ball deflects so far forward that it was over that half-court line and will be returned back to Italy to Innerhofer. They're taking out Sierra Zischer for Italy and bringing back in Magdalena Hofer. Camila Pazota will move to the center position. And it looks like Hofer will move to the right, and Innerhofer will stay on that left wing. 1 minute and 16 seconds left in this second half. Italy holding on to this game, but losing by 6 goals, 7-1 Ukraine. But again, still a very new, inexperienced team from Italy. Impressive performance throughout this tournament for just creating a team just a few months ago. Hofer has taken her place on the right side of the court, and Innerhofer has the ball on the left side. She'll take this throw and just barely throws a legal ball, released high, almost a high ball, blocked by Melina, passed off to Fakaiva, and then blocked out forward by Pazota. Hofer over to Innerhofer to take this ball on the left side of the court. She'll be throwing a ball across the face of Melina in center. She's lost in the goal right now, unfortunately, so if anybody throws at her, which is likely to happen right now, the ball's loose. Hofer makes that save just at the last minute, and we'll throw down the line on Lukovic from Ukraine. who switched back to that left wing position. Lukovic down the line and blocked by Hoffer from Italy. She'll take her second throw in a row, moving Pizzota out of center. Hitting Lukovic again on that left side. Lukovic a quick returns, but the ball just floats out. Italy will take a timeout now with 22.22 seconds left on the clock in the second half. They've held on against tournament favorites Ukraine, and Ukraine and Italy probably both thrilled with their own individual performance goals for this game. Ukraine trying to extend their lead to create more points for their point differential, but so far have not been able to do that in a while because Italy's defense has been holding strong on table left. It will be Hoffer after this timeout. Moving into the center, she's moving Pizzota out of the way. Choosing now to throw from her post. Across the face of center, blocked by the feet of Molina, and will be passed back to Fakaiva on that right side. Just passed out to save them from that 10-second penalty. We're moving into the last 12 seconds of this game. And it looks like Anna Maria Innerhofer will be throwing this last shot for Italy. Throwing into the right gap between Molina and Fakaiva for Ukraine. Fakaiva throwing down the line, but isn't able to execute the shot before the buzzer goes off. Ukraine wins this game 7-1 over Italy and will now extend their winning total 3 more points. Moving into tomorrow's last games to secure semifinal spots, they have now secured their semifinal spot. And Italy, another game down, but a lot of improvement showed throughout the tournament. Thank you for joining me for this game, Ukraine versus Italy. We will be back in just a short amount of time at 4 o'clock for the last game of the day, Hungary versus Greece, to determine where exactly Hungary and Greece both sit in their tournament standings, both having a similar amount of points in their group, in their respective group plays right now. Thanks for joining me. Again, this is Amanda Dennis, giving you the commentary from day 4 of the European Championships here in Matosinhos, Portugal. Come back and watch the next game with me at 1600, 4 o'clock Portuguese time, and we will see each other soon. Thanks for tuning in.